Regan Slaymaker for Radiant.Green. I have the pleasure to be joined by the Chief Technical Officer of Viridian Solar, Katie Tan. Katie, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good. Nice to see you here in person.
Good to see you too in person, Katie. Obviously, very impromptu interview. We managed to arrange this last night at the Solar Energy UK networking drinks. It was a great little time. But how have you found Solar and Storage Live so far this year?
Well, this year I think is quite interesting compared to last year. I was told that the number of visitors has gone up to 20,000, and you can really feel it. So especially yesterday, from the number of people who came to the stand and stuff like that, you can really tell this is the busiest Solar and Storage Live so far.
Definitely, and we're very happy to hear that not only do the numbers show, but do our exhibitors show as well. So I'm very glad. How, obviously, we'll touch on that then. So Viridian Solar, obviously, I think you've exhibited for a number of years now. You're a key speaker in Solar and Storage Live as well. But how has the event been? I imagine it's been a success for yourself and Viridian Solar as well.
Well, I'm quite pleased with my presentation so far. In particular, I think the audience this year, they were very engaging. So it more or less like a two-way communications, which I think previous year probably never happened before. So to have a two-way communication with the audience is the perfect sort of presentation one would hope for.
Perfect. And are you referring to, obviously, I know that you have multiple speaking positions, but one of your speaking positions was about the prevention of solar PV fire. Obviously, we mentioned this in our first interview over Zoom. If you haven't seen that, please make sure to go and have a look. But was that the conversation? So it was very back and forth conversation about that discussion.
I think so. I think this is a topic that people show a lot of interest. I just want to reiterate, the statistic is very, very small. I use the example as a toaster. I still use it as an example, but it's something that we should be vigilant, and we shouldn't be complacent, as I said before, on this particular issue.
Definitely, for sure, and obviously Katie did explain it thoroughly in detail in our first interview, so I'll put the link in the description as well. But kind of outside of that, Katie, obviously you've been here for the 3 days. Obviously, you said it's been a major success as well for yourself and Viridian Solar as well. But what would you say, kind of outside of your speaking position, what has been the main kind of talking point that all the exhibitors have been discussing, kind of with yourself, with other speaking positions that you may have watched? What would you say the main challenge or solution or discussion people have been talking about is?
I think the challenges you can split into several categories, and one is about deployments. So, for example, there are some challenges for huge deployment, and grid connections and stuff like that would be a challenge too. And the other challenge, actually, when we talk about PV, we can't avoid talking about price. And I think we have reached a point that where the module price I'm talking about is very, very competitive. It's probably too competitive that some people think that it might not be too healthy for the industry. So that is another talking point, and where a lot of people, I can see people sign some contracts on some of the big jobs and stuff like that. But there are several challenges, for local deployment, and also the global trend on the price that we should pay attention to.
Definitely, and I feel like I'm glad that you've said that, because a lot of people have been bringing this discussion up, and it's glad that everyone's on the same page as well. My final question, Katie, thank you for giving me your time for Radiant.Green. But kind of obviously over the last 3 days, kind of what would you say your key achievements for Viridian Solar have been?
Well, a show like this one, Solar and Storage Live show, is that you come and meet people in the colleagues. But more importantly, we are not come to preach to the believer, because there's no point, right? So it's more challenging is that when you come and you manage to persuade people who actually are not in your inner circles. So the example that I mentioned is that the talk on the risk of the PV fire, and I can see that many people now realize that this is an issue that we need to look at, and I think that will be, for me personally, the major takeaway from the show.
Perfect. I'm very glad to hear it. Katie, thank you very much for giving me your time once again. Make sure you watch this interview. Make sure you watch the interview that we've done before. And yeah, Katie, I'm sure we'll see you if not in Birmingham, we'll see you in London next year as well. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much.